Welcome back to Supremely Black Podcast. This is your host, D Rose. I hope everybody is having an amazing Monday. So I got a chance to visit Kansas City, Missouri for the NFL draft over the weekend. Pretty dope city. A lot of people was out. The Thursday night, I think it had like over 120,000 people there. Great barbecue too. I gotta salute them for that, man. So that leads right into our conversation. Now, there was only one player selected from the HBCUs, and that actually prompted for Deion Sanders to speak out and say that he was actually ashamed that out of all the teams that drafted, all 31 teams, only one HBCU player was picked, right? Which was Isaiah Bolden. He actually played at Jackson State. So Prime is pretty much making the statement that he feels that HBCUs aren't taken seriously. There's been several different people commenting on it saying like it was race as an issue. We can't really say that part because the first 10 draft picks were black people, black men, young black men. So we can't really go with the race part, right? However, just from looking at Power 5 schools and looking at HBCUs, you can tell that there's a vast difference in regards to resources, which makes kids actually want to go to HBCUs. Now, I will be honest with you and say this: I don't think race is an issue. I think location is, and by location I mean in being in an HBCU in the NIL era. I don't think that there is going to be even enough because one, like I said, the resources, two, the exposure. HBCUs had the biggest peak probably when Deion Sanders was coaching at Jackson State. A lot of people, a lot of attention, games on ESPN 1, 2, and 3, a lot of that, right? You know, those usually you would see the battle of the bands and that would be pretty much it. I think that they don't view HBCU schools as really good schools due to their resources. And I think the exposure piece is the most important part because if you're jockeying for the top people in the world to come to your college for 3 to 4 years, however long they decide to stay, if you feel that there are systematic reasons that they wouldn't draft from the HBCU outside of can kids play, even though the NFL is a business, you got to look at it this way. The the Power 5 schools are going to have the money and the resources to bring in whomever. If there was a balance to say, okay, out of the 7 rounds that the NFL picked, it's about 60-40 split. So that means 40% of the people came from the HBCUs, the other 60% came from Power 5. If that was the leverage and those were actually the numbers, I could see where they were coming from, but it's not. It's one player was drafted, one. You can't tell me, honestly, that there's only one player out of all of the HBCUs that was good enough to make it to the NFL. When they played against majority of these kids all through high school, they may have went to HBCUs and then play against the Power 5 schools, but some Power 5 schools are actually trash. They just have good resources, i.e., look how trash Colorado was, 1-11. There are schools that don't win games, bottom of the FCS, FBS, all of that. So yeah, what's your thoughts on this? Do you think, well, you can't really say race, but do you think systematically they're preventing HBCUs from being and sharing the same spotlight as Power 5s because now in this NIL era, you're going to get athletes and you can actually bid to get athletes to come to your school. So essentially you're paying them already. So what do you think it is? Do you think it's just race? Do you think it's systematic approach? Do you just think that the HBCU programs just aren't that good? Let me know your thoughts below in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Long live CC. I'm out.